Claire had always been drawn to antique shops. The scent of old wood and the promise of forgotten treasures filled her with curiosity. So when she wandered into an obscure little shop on the edge of town, it felt like fate. Her eyes landed on a small, ornate mirror tucked into a dusty corner. Its frame was etched with intricate symbols she didn't recognize, and the glass, though tarnished, shimmered with an unsettling allure. The shopkeeper, an old woman with hollow eyes, noticed her gaze and leaned in. "Be careful with that one," she warned in a low voice. "It's cursed. It reflects more than just your image." Claire smiled politely and laughed it off. Superstitions are for the weak-minded. She bought the mirror and brought it home, eager to add a touch of elegance to her bedroom. That night, after a long day of work, Claire stood before the mirror, brushing her hair. The reflection was ordinary until it wasn't. As she combed through the strands, the image of her behind shifted. In the corner of the mirror, a dark shape began to form, a shadow-like figure with hollow eyes. At first, she thought it was just the dim lighting playing tricks, but as she squinted, the shape grew clearer. It was a silhouette of a man, his face twisted in agony. Claire's heart raced as the figure raised a hand, pressing it against the mirror's surface. Frozen, Claire couldn't tear her eyes away. Slowly, the figure's hand moved, stretching forward as if trying to break free from the glass. Panic surged in her chest. She stumbled back, the brush falling from her hand. But the figure in the mirror didn't disappear. It stared at her, its hollow eyes unblinking. The next few days were a blur of exhaustion and dread. Every time Claire passed the mirror, she felt it, something watching her, waiting. The figure began to appear in every reflection, its movements more pronounced each time. It followed her around the house, lurking in the background of every room, no longer confined to the mirror. One evening, as Claire sat at her desk, she caught movement from the corner of her eye. She turned slowly to the mirror. The figure was now standing behind her. She could feel its breath on her neck, icy and unnatural. The reflection didn't match her own anymore. The figure in the mirror had crossed the threshold, its hand now visible, reaching toward her in the real world. Desperate, Claire grabbed the mirror and ran outside, but the entity followed. It was inescapable. As she hurled the mirror into the street, the figure stepped out of it, its form now solid and real, its eyes burning with malevolent intent. It was too late. The mirror had claimed her, and now it would never let her go. The next day, the antique shop remained open, the same old woman behind the counter, waiting for the next curious soul to wander in.